Man, it's all about the trajectory. Skyrocking my career to my destiny. Let nothing stop me, get the best of me. We the chosen ones, what's selected?
All right, everybody, welcome back to another meeting of Trajectory. You guys are tuned into our Trajectory podcast where one question sets everything in motion. If you signed up for the show, scanning the QR code, that means you are an igniter. Igniters have 90 seconds to walk up to the microphone and speak your truth, before the sound hits. Then our panel here, made of Scotty and Jason, and you guys, if you have a question that you would like to ask to whoever's speaking up there, if you can take it a step further by just asking follow-up questions. And at the end of the meeting, we will decide who made the biggest impact. This week's question is...
But wait a second, who's the sponsor?
Oh, ding, 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 ding. Go
Who's
ahead.
the sponsor, Jason?
Well, this episode is sponsored by Network Space, the #1 tool to connect with people using AI.
How?
With AI.
Oh, okay, so now you got it.
You use the mobile app is a CRM that's a smart CRM that'll help you create new connections, make connections, and convert them to a sale.
And at the end of the day, you'll never lose another business card, you'll never forget to follow up, and you'll never lose that big deal that you could have had that you didn't. Right?
It's a big deal if you lose that big deal.
Yeah. Okay, so now what were you saying? It was a question, right?
Well, thank you, Network Space, for sponsoring tonight's podcast. And this week's question is...
It's not if, it starts with what. What is the reason that you have not been able to achieve your goals? Or, as Jason likes to put it, why do you suck?
All right, everybody, we want to hear why you suck. All right. Are we ready for tonight's Trajectory? Let me hear you guys.
Yeah!
All right, then we're going to go ahead and get this show on the road. And our first igniter goes by the name of...
Mr. Derek.
Derek! All right, Derek, tell us why you suck. You have 90 seconds.
Keep it clean.
Keep it. Why haven't you been able to hit your goals? Your timer starts now.
Well, I found that just having no goals makes it so much easier. Then you never actually fail at anything. You don't put it on paper. You don't think about it. No effing goals. No sucking. No F, no suck. Now, all seriousness, how much time do I have left? 85 seconds. You know, I think goals can be relative. I think that if you have certain goals, right? You have a myriad of goals. And you know, there's a handful that you can actually accomplish. And then there's those that you don't actually hit, which I think creates a lot of disappointment in your life. And that's the things that you reflect on and you end up feeling bad about yourself. And it's not necessarily that you suck at it. It's just maybe that you're like me, ADD, and I can't seem to get to the step that takes me closer to the next goal. And I think that's like the biggest thing is it's not understanding the steps that it takes to get to the goal more so than sucking at getting to the goal. Some of our minds just work a little bit differently. You know, some of us are scatterbrained. Other people are really well organized and they can go 1, 2, 3, 4 and hit their goal. Other of us, we get caught up, like myself. Like, yeah, it looks great. I put it on paper and that's what I want. But somehow, like today, in the middle of the day, it was like, oh, I saw a squirrel. Next thing you know. Anyway, yeah. So suck it. That was lame.
Have you ever had the problem of making too many goals or having too lofty of goals?
Absolutely. I remember when I was young that I first started experiencing success and I was having my own money. all of a sudden I wanted to do all of these things. I wanted to travel, and I wanted to learn how to play the guitar, and I wanted to learn how to play the piano, and I wanted to learn, how to be a good salesman. And I remember being so overwhelmed, I actually went and saw a counselor.
Oh, wow.
I went and saw a counselor out at Chapman University. It was like student counselors. And she's like, maybe you should take some of the things off your list. Like, you want to accomplish a lifetime of things in the next 12 months. It's like, you have to take some of the things off of your list. It's not realistic. It's not humanly possible. And for me, I couldn't see it. I was just so young and ambitious that I thought, well, I've been to seminars, and they're like, if you time everything perfectly in your day, and from 8:12 to 8:43, you can get this done, and then from 8:44 to whatever time, you can do this, so you could do all these things. And I thought that I could do that, and all I was doing was just crushing my spirit, because then I couldn't do any of them. So yeah, 100%. And a matter of fact, this year, the very top of my goals was do simple things. That was literally what I wrote, because I put too much, I overcomplicate it. Do simple things. And that's my biggest goal for this year.
How old were you when you were like on that?
Kanazi, can you
I was 24, because you figure I started life so early. You figure at 22, I had my first kid. I landed in the mortgage business at 23, and I started making a bunch of money compared to everybody else that I was around. And I started getting involved in personal development and seminars and coaching and everything else. And it just put me on that path to continually strive to want and be more, and not really recognizing it, because I just didn't have the emotional maturity at that point in time to really take a step back. As you get older, you can step back and go, oh yeah, I've been there, done that already.
Out of your journey, and at this point in time, out of all that you've experienced and been through and learned and accomplished, what is it that you carry with you the most, that you, when you want to give advice, what would you say? From your experience?
My experience, despite your best efforts, things will happen. And how you manage the way that you walk through those things, and have an expectation that despite whatever it may be, you'll get through this, because you can look back and even at the toughest of times, the desperate situations, the crying by myself in my car, the negative talk, the painful feeling of looking at my bank account. I mean, I have a screenshot of my bank account with literally like 23 cents in it. I remember screenshot it on purpose. And a year later, having 6 figures in my account. But that quiet desperation, that I got through it. And every time, especially in the business that I'm in, I've had very highs and very lows. I've always gotten through it. So just know, Faith, that this too shall pass. And I heard that the other way, that this too shall pass, goes both ways. That your lows will pass and your highs will also pass too. So just know that, move through it. It'll be okay. It'll always be okay.
When you started talking, you made a joke and said, don't set goals, therefore you won't be disappointed. And then you followed it up with, you literally put small steps, right?
Simple steps.
Simple steps.
Yeah.
So what really is the reason? You still haven't really answered the question. What is the reason, or what do you think is holding you back from achieving your goal?
Definitely, one, I think fear of rejection in a lot of things. And I reflect on things that I haven't done throughout my life. So I've set a precedent in a way of reminding myself that I don't trust myself. So instead of forgiving myself for going, oh, yeah, you let that, you didn't do that thing that you said that you were going to do, and you didn't accomplish that goal the way that you thought you were going to accomplish it. You got part of the way there, but you didn't go all the way there. And it diminishes a little bit of personal trust. And then putting myself in a position to go, I can do that, because I can do anything. I can do that. And go, well, remember that last time you didn't really do that? And so that becomes that conflict of belief in myself because I don't trust that I will do the things necessary to reach that goal. So it's easier not to necessarily go after the goal because I've preordained that I will probably let myself down.
So your answer would be, if I was going to use one word, fear.
I would say that's. I'm not sure how to play.
No, fear.
Yeah, because fear comes before rejection.
It's the same thing.
Yeah,
kinda.
yeah.
It's fear of.
Rejection is the result of what I'm fearing. Is right? Is that right? Yeah.
But what I wanted to say is, I think you hit it on point when you said fear as the first answer, because I think, really, if we think about it, that's what holds us back from everything.
I worry what people think about me. Like when I look back at my childhood, I was really bullied a lot as a kid. That's why I tend to try to be funny, because being funny has always been that thing that has buffered my way into people's lives. That's why I try to do things perfectly all the time, because then I can't get criticized. So between like parental criticization, being criticized, and being bullied, I think those two things, and I don't know how to identify to get around it, but I get really apprehensive.
Well, it's fear of rejection.
About putting myself out there because I take it personally. And I've been told, don't take it personal. It's not personal. It's personal to me. I can't seem to overcome that. So it's stepping.
Careful what you say.
I struggle to overcome that.
There you go.
I have not overcome that yet.
There you go.
I have not
Bravo.
overcome that yet. I am overcoming that.
I was gonna tell you that it sounds like a Mexican raised you, all right? And I didn't
Yeah.
want to make it a race thing, but
Yeah, no. I was gonna say that last night. I'm like, I may be
the way
white.
you're afraid, but I'll
But
get made fun of.
culturally-
You definitely were raised by a Mexican.
Oh, 100%.
Because we
Culturally,
are
I'm
afraid of
Mexican.
rejection, and our culture is really jerks. So you kind of have a double-edged sword. This is just my opinion. Take it or leave it. But you have a double-edged sword because you don't quite fit a Chicano culture. You're a white man.
Yeah, I'm a
So-
widow that was
so you-
raised in
but you're
a
also,
Chicano
but you're
culture.
also a product of your environment, and you did an outstanding job to set a good example for Hispanic cultures. So it works both ways, but I'm also having compassion because how hard was it for you to adapt to a culture that you were thrown in by no choice? So it's like a double edge because it's a fear of like, let me try, because you have a God-given talent in you from your real birth parents, whether you felt the rejection or not. You are not a mistake. You're here on purpose for purpose. That's you by yourself as a blessing soul. So it's like, shut those voices down, Derek. How much time do we have left?
I do.
I think you're beautiful.
Well, I don't do drugs anymore, so it's a lot harder to shut them off. So.
Hold on.
Let me say one thing.
Panel. We got the panel.
Let me
All
say
right.
one thing.
What's up, panel?
Just because we had this conversation earlier, so
Oh shit! You're gonna tell my secrets? I got no secrets.
but then that'll out Scotty too. No, wait, what did I say? No, but what's interesting that you said. So, a lot of times when, well, here, let me put it this way. Do you know somebody that's like, I don't know how this guy's so successful. This guy is like dumb as bricks. Like, there's a lot of people that are very simple but super successful, right? You know what I mean? And then it's like, what's my problem, right?
Well, to say the truth, the same is true for people that are really smart that aren't successful and are like, you're so fucking smart, but yet you're not
Well, yeah,
successful.
Exactly, right? So, what the thing is that, and that's going back to your idea of wanting the simplicity. So the issue is when you make things more complicated than they should be, it's because of fear. It's because of the thing is you do something and you're afraid it's not going to work, so you overcomplicate it to make sure that it works, and in turn it doesn't work, or it's just too much work for you to maintain in a long.
I look for every possible hazard that there can be
Exactly.
to pave the smooth road. And really, what I'm doing is I'm just digging holes in front of myself the entire
And
time.
that could be stemmed from what you said before about the fear of rejection, because you're so afraid that you'll fail that you don't want failure to be a thing of yours, right?
Yeah.
But like the simple-minded, they don't think it's gonna fail. It's like, oh, you just do this and that's how it's supposed to work, and they just keep doing it. Years go by. Why are you still doing this? And then suddenly they're successful, right? It's the same thing we're talking about the social media, not seeing the result. Because if you do something and you're like, oh shoot, it's not working, it's probably because I got to do this, and then you do that,
Yeah.
then it becomes like way too much to handle, and you just like, oh, never mind, it's just not working, right?
Yeah, and just give up.
So at the end, it's faith. It's faith that it'll work for you. If you don't, if there's a fear that it's not going to work at some point in time, then the sabotage part is how smart can I get to make sure this works, but it's doing the opposite. You know what I mean?
It's like my communicating to win. I've just little bits. I've dabbled and not like really ran with it. And now what am I doing? What did I just talk about? Like, oh, well, I just got to fine tune it a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I have the same problem.
Just a little bit more right here, and then it'll be perfect.
The break the locks thing went like this, and then went crazy, and then now I'm going back to the simple. You know, it's the same.
Yeah.
It's just the fear that like you want to make sure it works, but like you.
And
gotta
I think in
go
our
back to the
society, it's
beginning.
really easy there's so much to compare against. Like I listen to, a lot of podcasters and personal developers and public speakers. And so I'm always measuring against that. Where not everybody's doing that. Like I think everybody knows what I know. Like, like everybody's seen everything I've seen, everything that I know, and then that's what we're comparing against. And I realize that's not the case. So
Awesome.
are we good? Am I off the hook now? All right.
There's more, but.
All right, so we want to know from you, why haven't you been able to achieve your goals? You have 90 seconds.
Who said I haven't achieved my goals? My goal is to be happy. I'm getting there.
So you haven't.
But true. Yeah. Where was your sound effects? Yeah. So there is some fear of being successful, and there is some hesitation to do all the work necessary. It was just about knowing what to do, and we'd all be rich and slim. So the motivation has to be there at all times to keep going forward. So I've renewed that motivation for this year, and I've got some lofty goals, and I will get there this year.
So your reason is lack of motivation?
That is highly likely.
Okay. So how do you think you can change that?
It's time to do it anyway.
Despite the feelings, correct?
That's right. Yeah, that's exactly right. It's time.
So then it's discipline now.
Yes.
And how do you think you can work up the discipline?
Do the right thing today and repeat tomorrow.
Small steps.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Well, I have big shoes, so I'm taking some giant steps too.
What motivates you the most?
Oh, that's a good one. My kids? Yeah, the kids are pretty important to me. Making sure my kids are happy is pretty important to me. It was kind of a lifelong goal. So I'd say making happy kids is important to me. Is it all that motivates me? No. Food sometimes motivates me. Money sometimes motivates me. Accomplishment motivates me. Being able to do a lot in a little bit of time, or filling every crack of time sometimes motivates me till I realize it's too much. Yeah, good question.
So how I'm looking at it, there are two stimuli, right? One is intellectual, and then the other is physiological. Derek, when he grew up, he had to over intellectualize things because he couldn't just do things with brawn, right? He was a little and wrong color. So he had a lot of kids picking on him for whatever reason. And the way that he was able to adapt was to over intellectualize things. And so you think of, okay, I'm going to plan out my year and hit these specific goals. So you have the intellectual component of that. But the physiological part is the actual dopamine. I plan to take one step, you hit this step, boom, it hits the dopamine, and that is what keeps you focused and moving. So whenever you over intellectualize things and you have too many goals to hit and you don't hit it, you don't get that dopamine hit and you lose motivation, right? So there's two factors in the whole goal setting and then making it happen. And so I think it's a fine line of making too many and too lofty of goals, right? And then making it so that you can actually hit it, because I don't think the end result is about the goal setting. I think it's about hitting that dopamine stimulus. So whatever it is, you have to, if you want to continue to make progress like on a consistent level, on a consistent journey, I think you have to have the goals easy enough to hit to keep you motivated, because if not, and you do the other thing, then you're going to lose motivation. And then from there, it takes 8,000 pounds of torque to get a freight train started. But once it's going, it's like 100 or 50, something like that. So for whatever that's worth.
So I don't think there's a question there. So instead, I'll give you I disagree. Because
I like it.
On the way here, I randomly had a book come on my podcast, which I downloaded, but it was not in the sequence. But it was a book that Tony Robbins did the forward on. And the author is speaking about impossible goals, setting impossible goals so that you completely reframe how you go about things. You have to give up the things that are not working and completely change how you're going about doing it. And so I think I'm working towards impossible goals. And some of the things that have been holding me back, I've decided to not think about them and just do it anyway. And in some ways that's a little bit scary, and in other ways it's a little bit refreshing.
That's a good point. That's a good point. It's the boldness. Boldness makes magic happen. What you can do or dream you can do, begin it, right? I can't remember what the guy's name is, but I have that on all my emails.
Yes, Goff, maybe? I'm not sure. And one of the examples that was given in this book, in the chapter I'm listening to, is Kennedy's speech in 1963 about putting a man on the moon before 1970. And they accomplished it in July of 1969. After, of course, he was gone, but that was I don't know about the catalyst. It was the uniting force that brought people together in the 60s, because they had to accomplish that in his legacy, in his honor.
So one of the things that there's like a scientific study and research that shows that motivation is like 10 times stronger from like pain and fear than it is from pleasure, which makes sense for survival, right? So the hard part is, if your goal is to be happy and successful, it's very rare that it happens. If you know most successful people, they're usually unhappy in some sort of way because they keep going because they're not fulfilled yet. There's something, or they're afraid. They're afraid to lose it, so they keep going, right?
Yep.
So it's that fine line. If you say I want to be happy, that'll stop you from doing a lot of the hard things in order to try to achieve your goals. So it's what's the biggest pain point in your life that'll motivate you? Is almost like the way, but it's not a positive thing to think about. You know what I mean? So it's a hard thing. But the reason I want to bring it up is because move, right? When you need to and you're in a bad spot or you're not where you want to be, the answer is move. So the answer to achieve your goals is to move, but the reason you're going to move is because you're in a bad spot. So it's almost like you got to mentally get yourself in a bad spot to make a difference, you know?
Yeah, those negative things are definitely motivating me. Yeah. Yeah, to not let them interfere with my ability to be successful.
All right, thank you, Saul. Everybody give it up for Saul. All right, so Tony, we want to hear from you. What is the thing that's been keeping you from achieving your goals? You have 90 seconds. Your timer starts now.
Okay. This is going to be simple, elementary. What's been keeping me from my goal and what is it, the definitive of purpose and everything is that it hasn't happened yet. It's still going to happen. And the thing that's probably keeping me, you know, we've heard, you know, the term fear, but it's not fear because I go in deeper into it. It's not the fear of what you got to do or what's people's going to say or whatever. What it is that it's a process. I got to go through the ups and downs, the ins and outs of whatever you do in running the business, prospecting or whatever. You got to, there's going to be no's. And yeah, we might have fear of no's, but the thing is we got to go through the no's. We got to go through the, we just have to continue through the process. And that's ultimately, I've got, because I'm working the business, the thing is what they say in personal development is if you're doing it, if you work in the business and you're not getting the results you are wanting, you're not doing it. You're doing it wrong or you're not doing it enough. And I believe I'm not doing it enough. So, and then that means I need to do more. And doing more, there's going to be more setbacks, no's. And anybody that's successful, they receive more no's. For instance, it's Thomas Edison, okay? He was told in an interview that, how's it feel to know that you failed 10,000 times to produce the condenser? And he said, I didn't fail. I found 10,000 ways how it didn't work. And that's for all of us. You know, you got to find your 10,000 ways. You got to do it and continue to do it. And the only way to fail is to quit. And I'm not quitting. Yeah.
That was the best answer of the night, brother. that was damn good, man. So my question to you is, what is your biggest goal? Like off the top of your head, what are you trying to accomplish? Do you have something in 2026 that you're trying to hit?
I think I want to help. I think for me is to help 5 people is my goal, to be successful or to fulfill their desires.
That's kind of a slippery slope there.
Well, yeah, we're talking on the. I'm a Christian, so I'm doing this on a positive level. I mean, there could be all kinds of dreams and definitions of purpose, but I'm looking at this, and see, the thing is I don't think on that parallel. Okay, yeah. People do, and they think you should because it's there and it's real, and it's going to. If you don't know it's coming, but see, if I'm not focused on that, because if I'm not focused on that, it's not going to be an issue for me. I mean, because I've lived 67 years, and a whole lot of shit could have happened to me. I've had some sketchy instances, driving, had an accident here, or I slid, hydroplaned on the highway in Chicago, and my car just out of control, and there's a sliding all around, and I'm like, this is it. But I made it through, without an error, I was able to call for a tow truck to come and get me out of this ditch, which I was wedged in. I wasn't able to get out of there. But yeah, that was one of the scariest moments other than, okay, for instance, no, I'm not going to even go there. Because there's some scary instances and moments that you shouldn't be doing this one thing or another, and it could have been devastating. And if it was someone else, it probably was. But
Oh my God! I have a question. When you hydroplaned, was that recent or a while ago or what?
No, that was, I guess, about 30 years ago. 30, 40 years ago.
Okay.
And so,
have you had any accidents since? I'm just curious because I ride with you a lot.
I haven't had an accident in the past 30 years.
All right, cool. Awesome. Just asking.
Everybody, give it up for Mikey, everybody. Yeah.
Are we good?
Ah, looks like it. All right.
I'll be simple and straight up. I don't really make goals. I don't really even make plans. I take it day by day because that's kind of where I gotta live right now. I don't mind it. Is it unhealthy? Maybe, but I've been getting by, and if I'm unhealthy, well, I'm pretty damn happy right now. So God is good, and you know what I mean. Like I'll let the walking speak for itself. I don't feel that I'm like missing any goals, or you know what I mean. Am I where I want to be? I mean, no. Okay, so I'd like to have a car. I'd like to have, you know what I mean. But it's just more stuff that I gotta keep up with, and I already got enough to keep up with. You know what I mean? It's not easy. So is money a virtue? Yeah, it's there. Yeah, we need it. You know what I mean? But and it's also teaching me not to take for granted what I still have, man. I'm appreciating that, and I'm that's just where I'm at. I appreciate what's in my life right now. I appreciate what I got. Yes, I may take it for granted, but that's because, life around me, there's so many distractions. Like, people don't even think about what you take for granted anymore. People don't even give time to think anymore, man. So, take the time to, when they say take the time to smell roses, when's the last time anybody smelled a rose? When's the last time anybody actually smelled the coffee before they poured it and drank it? Okay, so there it is there. It's good to hear that, because out there, the people that are watching, they might not, That's why I'm thankful to be here.
So have you heard of Alexander the Great?
Yes.
So, badass person that conquered so many different, really, civilizations. He created Rome, basically, I think, as we know it today. But there was also a philosopher that lived at his same time named Diogenes. And Diogenes was, so basically there's a story of Alexander. Somebody was telling Alexander the Great about the guy Diogenes. It's like this philosopher. He's like, I want to learn from him. So Alexander actually finds him, and he walks up, and he's like, and Diogenes was laying in a little cave, or I don't know whatever, he was laying down, and Alexander says, Diogenes. He looks up and he's like, yeah. He's like, I'm Alexander the Great, and what can I do for you? And he looks at him and he's like, you're blocking my sun. Could you move a little to the left? Right? He didn't want a damn thing from this guy who owned everything and had everything and was everything at the time. He didn't give a shit. All he wanted is get out of my son. Right? So there's a fine line. There's a fine line, and that's what I wanted to get into with the whole thing. And when Lena had actually came up with this whole question, and I was like, oh, that actually it would be good because it makes us question why. That's what I want to get to. Why are we making the goals? And where are we coming from to make the goals? And do we even need to make the goals? And are things going to happen anyway? Because sometimes making goals is a way of us to degrade ourselves, because it gives us an opportunity to basically set ourselves up for failure, right? And so if you don't set goals, well, then you can't fail. Now, there's a fine line, though, because if you don't make progress, if you don't take steps, if you don't improve yourself, then you're doing yourself a disservice, but you're also, and I'm not pointing you.
No, I
but
get it.
anybody,
I get it completely.
But you're also, because it's not about you, it's about what you can do for others. And so the point is, if you don't sharpen your tool, if you don't sharpen your blade, it's going to be dull. And then when you need to use it to cut into a knife or to cut into an enemy, you're going to fucking die. So you need to. So there's a but there's a fine line, because are you doing it just because you heard about this goal and you're trying to? That's bullshit.
So look at this is the thing. So this is the thing. Okay, I'm not a parent. First of all, okay, I'm not a parent. So there's that. And now,
what does that matter?
Because being a parent is a big responsibility, and you're gonna have to think. You're gonna have to think for somebody else. So that's a big difference between being a parent, right? Sort of. I mean, don't get me wrong. I kind of experienced it, but just physically or however, you got to be a parent. You gotta be able to hold your house down. You got to be able to pay rent. You got to be able to. There's responsibilities, right?
Do you feel incapable of doing those things?
Not incapable, just not prepared.
Okay.
But like I said, so I could be building for my future, right? Which is something that I have neglected, but see, I'm acknowledging it, so I'm grateful for that. But also, I also feel at peace with the work, what I've been going through and dealing with, and feeling like I'm making the right decisions. You know what I mean? I'm not like, woe is me anymore, because I've been there. I've been attacked. I keep being attacked, but now I'm like, you know what? You know what I mean? Bring it on. Bring it on.
There's a very good
You know
story.
what I mean? But I'm also humble and grateful for everything and anything, you know? And even when I'm going through something I'm not happy with, I still give thanks and say, thank you, God. Just help me to see what I'm supposed to get from all this and what I can do. You know what I mean? And I'm not afraid to cry, bro. I love crying, but don't get me wrong. Like, hey, I shed tears, but a lot of times it's tears of joy. You know what I mean? And that's just helps me. Helps me.
There's a story in the Bible that I'm not sure if you guys have heard of, and it was about a master and 3 of his servants. One day, this master had to go out of town, and so he gave 3 talents to one of his servants. He gave 2 talents to the other servant number 2, and he gave, or what is it, 5? I don't remember. You can follow along. And then he gave 1 talent to the last servant number 3. So servant number 1 had 3 talents, went out of town, invested the talents, and he doubled it. So instead of having 3, he had 6. The second one went out, took those 2 talents, invested it, and turned it into 2. He doubled it. The last servant went out into the land, dug a hole, and he buried his one talent. When time passed and the master returned, he called him over, and he said, okay, I need you guys to give me, share with me the results of the talents that I gave you. So talent number 1 came up, and he's like, Master, you gave me 3 talents. I went out into the town, invested it. I doubled your money. So here it is. Okay, very good. You shall be blessed, or however you want to put it. Second servant came up, same thing. You gave me 2 talents. I doubled it. Now here's 4. God bless you. The last one said, okay, Master, out of fear from losing your talent, I went out into the land, dug a hole, and buried your talent so I wouldn't lose it. So here it is, back to you. And you know what happened? He got rebuked because he did nothing out of fear from losing that talent. So if you don't know what that story it's implying, or what the message of that story is that everybody in this world, myself included, and yourself included, you have a tremendous talent and you have something to offer to this world, but don't waste your talent, because then you're just wasting air, bro, because you have a talent. You love music. There's something. I don't believe that you're comfortable. I quite frankly with you, I don't believe that. You want more. I know you want more, but you just gotta do what you gotta do, bro. And out of.
Okay, well, I hear you, and I appreciate that, but let me go ahead and answer you back with this. Right here at Trajectory, I've seen a lot of amazing things happen.
Okay.
All right? Not only that, I've been seeing small little conversations, small little simple words being passed, being shared, being given, and big differences has come from those conversations just taking place outside, just taking place here. I'm happy to be a part of that. That makes a change in somebody else's life. And I'm grateful to be a part of that. I'm grateful to be able to see it.
Why can I make a change in your life?
You haven't seen it, but I know you guys have seen it.
Why can it make a change in your life?
It does. It has.
Well, what do you want? You need a car. You said that earlier.
I need a car, but
that's a goal.
But does God think I need a car?
Absolutely.
I don't know.
Absolutely. Because like I said before, you have talent, bro. You have talent, and you're supposed to be forced to become more of yourself. You're just making up an excuse to not do the things that you got to do. I'm just gonna be very real. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Because what we want to see,
I have a lot to offer.
Absolutely,
You know
we
what I mean?
want
So
to see.
be thankful for why you got me.
We
because I
want to
won't
see
be
you
here
grow,
forever.
Mikey.
No, just kidding.
We want to see you grow. We want to see you thrive. We
I
want to
am,
see
man.
you.
I am growing. You know what I
You
mean?
know?
Maybe it's not for everybody, dog. You know what I mean? Maybe what I have to share is not for everybody. But I'm not gonna put no limits on it. You know what I mean? But I am.
Go ahead, Saul.
I appreciate both perspectives. It always makes my day to see you here. So somebody said to me they were invited tonight. They came last night, and they said, well, I heard there's only a few people there. I said, I don't count how many people are there, but every person there has made a difference. So show up and find out what that's all about. So you make a difference when you're here, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
For sure, Mikey, you're gonna be the poster boy.
So
Mikey.
just show up.
Yeah, show up. Like I think Artie was a pain in the ass last night. You're a pain in the ass, Artie. But what she said is get up, dress up, and show up. Okay. So I remember those 3 things: get up, dress up, and show up. So what you're saying?
Okay. Look at.
Yeah.
I think when you do that, you make.
So look at. I've been helping Mikey out for a long time now, and I see where he's coming from, because I can say it because I know you've said it before, but he was in a dark, really, really dark spot, okay? And he started coming to the studio, and I can see where he's coming from, him just being grateful for just being here, because
It's like church.
he was in a dark spot, okay? Like really dark spot. We've talked real deep, and he told me how bad he really was, right? So I can see where he's coming from, and just being grateful just to even be here, to get out of the house. And it started him coming to the studio, but then when I started bringing him to Trajectory, he calls me, are we going to Trajectory? Kind of like Kanazi, a bunch of everybody that's been coming here. So I can see where Mikey's coming from as far as just being grateful to even be part of this. And that's why he said, I'm just happy to be here and witness everything that's going on. And what Oscar said was very powerful too, because he's kind of
It kind of feels like the same way a lot of people do.
There's more
for-
in
you know what I mean?
And I've seen the growth in Mikey too, but I think what Saul said kind of summed up both, because Oscar, that was very powerful to kind of get him like, hey, come on, there's more. Mikey's like, hey, I'm just happy to be here, right? Right?
For the record, Mikey, don't take that in a negative way.
No, I was about to say.
I genuinely want to see you thrive, bro.
Yes,
I
and
genuinely want to
I can
see you thrive.
both of them, and then what Saul said kind of sums it up for Mikey is like, hey, you are, just by being here already, you're doing something, and that is the first step for anything, is get yourself out here. And you've been doing it, Mikey, and I've seen your growth, because we hang out a lot in the studio and we do a lot of things. And from when you first came,
And a lot of sharing.
yeah. So I have seen Mikey, and how he first started coming, how the studio helped him, how Trajectory has helped him, and that's where
Yeah,
his
thank you,
gratefulness
guys.
comes of
Thank
just
you.
being
Thank you to
part
each
of
and every
something.
one of you, man.
And I feel like
straight up.
him just being part of something, he's just happy to be part of something. So that is big.
Okay, so listen, there's one other piece of that story. I'm glad that you brought that up. Of that, yeah.
Well, we're running late, so we don't have time now. I'm kidding.
Sucks for all you guys.
No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead. No, go ahead, Scotty.
No, because there's something that keeps coming up, and that's fear. Well, the guy who buried the Talon, he buried it because in his answer to the master, to the person that owned the land, was that he was fearful that he had acquired that Talon in less than beneficial means. So he was afraid. It was a fear thing as well, and that's something that's maybe a hidden little piece of that.
Well,
whole thing.
what I get out of it is, my job is to figure out which role am I playing, which one am I, and find out what I can do about it to change it, or be led by God, or that's why it's important to read His Word, so I can know, am I that one or the other one, or or what? Maybe it might tell me something else, and I could share that outlook on something, or you know what I mean? Because God is all infinite.
Put the shield down.
But
put the shield down. Okay, stop. No, you stop. Stop. Fucking stop. Because I love you, but stop. Because what's happening is you're defensive, bro. Stop. Because you know what? And this was my point. I'm sorry if I was rude. But I want you to understand. This is an important thing. Is that okay? My point that I was trying to make. Okay, it was partially fear is why he buried it. I'm not saying that anything with you, but with faith, right? This is what helps in that. What helps with this is faith, and I think that's what is the important message of all of this, is that if you are trying to, if you have a goal that you're trying to hit, maybe you didn't hit, maybe you weren't supposed to. And that the deeper meaning of this whole freaking meaning of this whole meeting tonight is that it's not about the goal, it's about the faith. It's about the faith that you are here, you got up, you dressed up, and you showed up, and you're here, and that is the important thing, and that you have faith that you're going to be in front of the right people at the right time for the right reason, and that is going to give you the right result. And that is everybody here at Trajectory is under that umbrella, in my opinion. I think that this whole thing it's a divine gift for all of us, and that we don't have to be here, we get to be here. And I'm fucking happy to see your ass here.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Let me leave you with this, though. Let me leave you with this. After everything that's been shared here right now, I give all glory to God, because if it weren't for God and just, yes, I'm seeking Him, but at the same time, if it weren't for God, none of this. Actually, Jesus Christ. If it weren't for Jesus Christ, none of this would be possible. So.
All right. Thank you, Nathan. Okay, we got to get going. It's 8:36. We got